we want is for someone to unashamedly and single-mindedly advocate for Americans and Americans only. We want someone to say, the only thing I care about is helping Americans. The only people I care about in the world are Americans. And we don't want to just hear that, but we want to see the action taken as well. I've seen some people on social media say, hey, it's America first, but not America only. I disagree. I think it is America only. It's like I said months ago, I consider myself an American chauvinist. America first, America only. I'm an American chauvinist. I don't care about it. This is the only thing I care about. America should be the only thing you care about, especially as a leader of the country. What we want.
Okay, so I do agree with America first, America only. I think that we have a global world. So people are going to say that's because of Jewish people, but I do think that it would behoove America to be a power in the global society, right? So I wouldn't want us to not be a power on the world stage because I wouldn't want Russia, China, etc. to have better relationships with us in terms of economic trade and then also militarily. So I do believe that our politicians should put us first. They're representing American people, but because this is now a global economy and I'm not going to say it's always been global, but to some extent it has. People have always, even back in the olden days, they had trade, around the world where you had to deal with other countries. I just think because of that, we have to manage America on both fronts. America first, but we still got to manage foreign policy and deal with other governments. This is a clip from Patrick Buchanan in 1990. He's a former politician who ran for president on the Republican side, calling Congress Israeli-occupied territory.
You've also said that Congress is an Israeli-occupied territory. Now, what do you mean by that?
I said on the McLaughlin Group, in response to a question, Jim, they said, do you think that the Congress of the United States will resist this demand for further aid? I said, through out a crack I'd heard. I said, no, the Congress of the United States is Israeli-occupied territory. What I meant by that is the most powerful lobby in Washington, which Congress can't stand up to, one of the most powerful, is certainly the pro-Israeli lobby. It has gotten its way in this town year in and year out. And I don't think the automatic votes of the Congress of the United States for $3 and $4 billion worth of aid to Israel are necessarily in the national interest of the United States. And that comment, which is to ridicule the subservience of the Congress of the United States, is perfectly valid.
Do you believe there are members of the Congress of the United States who are voting the interest of Israel over the interest of the United States?
No, I think they're voting the interest of a powerful lobby, which they can't stand up to in many cases, one of many. They cave into lobbies all over this city. I think the Congress of the United States, where it's got brave men on both sides, is an institutional coward. And that when a powerful lobby can influence or defeat them back at home and they can't get much support on the other side for a vote, many of them who will even tell you privately, I can't stand up to that kind of heat, they will vote for it.
But why have you singled out this particular, if you say there are many powerful lobbies?
Well, was a question was thrown to me on the McLaughlin Group about Israeli aid. Mm-hmm. Should I have talked about the National Rifle Association at that point?
Calm down, everyone. You've also...
Okay, so this is a great clip for me to respond to because I noticed that I'm responding to a lot of the same topics over and over. So again, I do agree with him that there's a strong influence from Israel, not just AIPAC, but just the relationship between America and Israel is just, they're supposedly our greatest ally. We give them money, they give us money. We do things to help their government with military, the intelligence agency, as well as our military funding and military equipment. They do the same for us. So we're just like, I'm not going to say brothers because we're definitely not brothers. We're not even in the same family, but we act as though we're kinfolk, basically, as a metaphor. So I think this is a problem, and I think this is a good clip for me to respond to because what he said at the end was, when people ask you about Israel, you should respond about Israel. So I've got into it with some people behind the show because they say I keep bringing up other people when we talk about Jews or Israel. But the reason I keep doing that is because there's certain topics that are getting put in front of me, right? So sometimes it's women, and then I try to answer about women and men. Sometimes it's about black people, so I try to answer about Asians, whites, etc. Because I don't like whenever one thing is put in front of you because it's like, any topic, you can find something wrong with them. So whether it's blacks, whether it's whites, whether it's Israel, whether it's Qatar, right? So I'm going to bring up Qatar now because that's what I do, right? There are many governments influencing America, and I just want us to be transparent about what influencers are getting paid, what politicians are getting paid, right? They're not telling us which politicians are receiving money from which lobbies. They're not telling us which influencers are receiving money from different countries and different foreign interests, right? So I think that obviously every country, because we do the same thing to other countries. Every country has, whether it's spies or whether they have their people trying to influence. I don't think it's wrong with any country trying to influence, because we do that to other countries as well. I think the main problem is just you can't criticize Israel, and I think that Israel's relationship is a little funny. So that's why I wanted to bring up Qatar, because I wanted to say that now that we know that influencers are being paid from them, and now outside of the influencers, we see what Trump is doing with his golf course, but we also see what Tucker Carlson, etc., people who are like considered media people are doing. It needs to be brought up that both them, Saudi Arabia, etc., they're all trying to influence America. So and they're doing things as far as like with the Middle Eastern countries, they're setting up joint military bases in America, right? So just like we got to watch out what Israel's doing, we got to watch out what some of these other countries are doing. So I have no problem criticizing Israel. I will continue to do so. And maybe I'll get the producer or other people behind the show to start presenting us with more information, because maybe part of the reason why I'm bringing up other topics while we're talking about Israel is because I'm just being overloaded with content on Israel. Next clip.
Why did Trump pull out? He pulled out because Bibi doesn't want the JCPOA. Bibi wanted to go to war with Iran. He's wanted regime change in Iran for decades.
So you're saying that Bibi Netanyahu controls Trump?
Trump's the most honest person in the world.
You're saying that Bibi Netanyahu controls Trump? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
I think the Israeli government controls our government. Yes.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, it's not an
you're
opinion.
Wrong, but that's
it's based on
entirely
evidence.
your opinion.
It's based on impact.
So you're saying that Trump...
It's based on money and politics. It's based on the fact that Netanyahu go to the U.S. to invade Iraq and then didn't even send IDF soldiers. He had 4,000 of our soldiers die in Iraq based on a false premise of weapons of mass destruction.
Like you care about American soldiers.
I do care about American soldiers, and I care about American taxpayers who spend trillions of dollars on this trash when we are dealing with $37 trillion in debt.
So now you're a fiscal conservative.
Yeah, I am a fiscal conservative when it comes to spending our resources on wars that we shouldn't be fighting on behalf of a foreign country.
Let me understand this. You're saying that Trump is so weak and such a pussy that he just listens to whatever Bibi does? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think he's weak or a pussy. I think he's transactional. I think he's transactional. Wait, and I think that he buys this ridiculous narrative that Iran was behind the 2 assassination attempts when there isn't even a shred of evidence other than Netanyahu declaring it. But why did Trump...
Yeah, so she said a few things and I agree with. She doesn't like Netanyahu, neither do I. I think he's a war criminal. He's behind various wars that we fought currently, but also in the past. And then I also think we're spending too much money on these wars. So on one end is messing up our economics. Then on the other end, she brought up all the soldiers who are dying on our end. That's bad for Americans. And then worldwide, we're in support of Israel. So the people that are dying at the hands of Israel, the blood is also on our hands. So yeah, I think that the recent wars behind Israel are a problem. I think they have the wrong leader in charge of their country. And then also, just to make this clear, since everybody's confused about my stance with Israel, I think Palestine is Palestine. I don't even think Israel can be a state and it can be called Israel, but I think the Gazans should be living there in conjunction with people who have moved back who are Jewish. I don't believe that Israel should just have the Jewish people and a minority of Arabs. I think the majority of people in Israel should be people from that lineage. Since people are in the comments and people I'm dealing with behind the scenes are confused, they're acting like I'm, pro-Israel. I'm definitely not pro-Israel.
Doesn't own any casinos in America, right? Do you know where she owns casinos? She's Israeli. She made her wealth in Las Vegas. She still owns some stake in the Las Vegas Sands Corporation, which runs a couple casinos, but that's not where her money is now. That's not where her billions are generated. They're generated in Macau and Singapore, which are both under the auspices of the Chinese Communist Party. So why is it that one of Trump's top advisors, a woman who seems glued to his side, her ridiculous face is constantly popping up, smiling like an idiot, their hair going everywhere, being congratulated by Trump for being such an Israeli patriot. Her billions, her entire wealth is in the control of the Communist Party of China, who could come in at any moment. And they're not shy about it. China, unlike America, will just throw a billionaire's ass in prison. If a billionaire misbehaves, according to the Chinese Communist Party, that company's theirs now. And he's in jail. And somebody else has put at the head. That's exactly what they would do to Miriam Adelson if she didn't play ball with them. I don't know what exactly she does to play ball with them. But if China is Trump's biggest enemy, why would they allow Trump's biggest contributor to fund Trump off of money she makes in casinos that they control? She doesn't own any casinos in America, right? Do you know where she owns casinos? She's Israeli. She made her wealth in Las Vegas. She still owns some stake in the Las Vegas Sands Corporation, which runs a couple casinos, but that's not where her money is now. That's not where her billions are generated. They're generated in Macau and Singapore, which are both under the auspices of the Chinese Communist Party. So why is it that one of Trump's top advisors, a woman who seems glued to his side, her ridiculous face is constantly popping up, smiling like an idiot, their hair going everywhere, you know, being congratulated by Trump for being such an Israeli patriot. Her billions, her entire wealth is in the control of the Communist Party of China, who could come in at any moment. And, you know, they're not shy about it. China, unlike America, will just throw a billionaire's ass in prison. If a billionaire misbehaves, according to the Chinese Communist Party, that company's theirs now. And he's in jail. And somebody else is put at the head. That's exactly what they would do to Miriam Adelson if she didn't play ball with them. I don't know what exactly she does to play ball with them. But if China is Trump's biggest enemy, why would they allow Trump's biggest contributor to fund Trump off of money she makes in casinos that they control? You know, she doesn't own any.
Okay, so I'm gonna respond to all this because this is a lot going on and a lot of these clips are good. So this woman is Jewish and she's giving money to Donald Trump. And so that would mean she has access to him and she's able to influence the decisions that he's making. She's also got money with China, so she's able to influence the things that are going on with China. People have said China was doing things, but I see how now if this lady is giving money to both people, she's a Jewish person, she could be behind, you know, the policies happening with both sides of China and America having a problem. Same thing we see in American politics where there are Jewish people behind both the Republican side and the Democratic side. Now, what I would say about all of these things is nobody has to accept anybody's money. So when people are sitting here doing transactional things, because in the last clip, somebody said Trump was transactional. Now, this is saying besides Trump being transactional, potentially China is accepting money and potentially being influenced as well by these rich, powerful Jewish people. Again, like I say, everybody has personal responsibility. Whatever this woman is doing and whoever else, I don't know if she's a Zionist, but let's just say for this, she's a Zionist and she's involved with other wealthy Israeli people or wealthy Jewish people. I don't support them giving money to both sides. I don't support their influence in either country, but I also believe that I think you can tell people no to the money. Now, as we continue to go down this, I'm aware that people say Charlie Kirk was killed for not giving for not wanting to accept $150 million. So I am aware that people are saying if you don't take the money and you don't play ball, you could die. My point, though, is still you don't have to accept someone's money if you think it's going to harm your country, if you think it's going to harm the society. So I'm very interested in learning more about the wealthy people across the world with globalism. Obviously, this is based upon whether someone's Jewish or not, but I'm just interested in knowing like how the wealthy people operate and how the governments and the elites, what are they doing? How is it helping or hurting the people? So I'll just continue to follow this as well as other things. Clip from Nick Fuentes.
During a November 2017 email chain with Epstein, Faith Cates, who co-founded a modeling agency, asked the financier where he was spending Thanksgiving. After a few exchanges, she asked, "Who else is there?" Epstein replied, "David Fizel, Hansen, Trump." November 2017. That's Trump's first Thanksgiving in the White House. Are you telling me that Donald Trump had Thanksgiving dinner with Jeffrey Epstein when he was the president? Are you kidding me? That is what is in the files, the 20,000 emails that were released yesterday. We don't even have all of them. And this Department of Justice said the files didn't exist. And they knew that this was in them? Really? How do you expect anybody to ever trust the Trump government ever again? You think that you have the right to bury this? Wouldn't that be pretty relevant if Donald Trump, as the newly elected president, sat down for Thanksgiving, his first one in office with Jeffrey Epstein, after his labor secretary, Alex Acosta, recently appointed, was the one that gave Epstein the sweetheart deal 10 years prior? That's not in the public interest. That's a non-existent file. It says during a November 27th.
Yeah, so we covered this on Critical Commentary. If you haven't checked out Critical Commentary with Maurice Williams, check it out. That's I guess our flagship show for now, but that's one of our other shows. Yes, I think Trump knew Epstein. I think that Trump ran in the same circle as Epstein. I think that previous Israeli prime ministers did. So did British and other European dignitaries. So did Bill Clinton. They're all just lying. They all knew this man. Some of them may or may not have known about what he was doing to young girls. I believe most of them did. So yeah, I just think it's a big cover up. They don't want us to know what the wealthy people were doing. But again, this is why I like to not pick on Jewish people. Clinton's not Jewish, Trump's not Jewish, etc. They were Prince Harry's not Jewish. All of these, and Prince Andrew had some kind of sexual relationship with this woman. So I just think a lot of the things that people constantly say, whether it's blacks, Jews, etc., women, things just fit so many people. It's just always hard for me in my responses to ever say, see, haha, we got them. They were behind this thing. I mean, I just think that everybody's involved in these various situations. You know, not every human being, but every racial group, every gender, etc., every religion, every ideology. This is I've seen this before, but I don't know if I saw this clip. This is Eric Adams, the former mayor of New York.
Male team here in Israel, and as I finish, I wanted to come back here to Israel and let you know that I serve you as the mayor, but I want to continue to have the title that's more important to me than anything. I'm your brother. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
so I saw this clip before. I think he said that he served Israel, right? So that's a red flag and a huge problem. This leads to all the things that they've been presenting to me, but I already agree. Israel has too much influence. A politician should not be saying that they served Israel. But he also got in trouble for taking money from another foreign government. So he might have told that foreign government the same thing. I'll have to look into it, right? So that's why I don't like these clips where stuff just gets pulled out, because he seems to be somebody who just takes money from anybody. But yeah, this was a foolish thing to say. It just feeds more into that narrative. And if it's true, it's just highlighting what people already say, that Israel has too much influence.
Thomas Jefferson, I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allowed private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent that their fathers conquered.
Oh, dude, that's like, wow, Jesus Christ. Like, damn. Does that not resonate with you? Like, my Lord.
Jeez. From Thomas.
Yeah, so we've had depressions in America before. I think the depressions are potentially caused by some of the things in the private industry, but America wants capitalism. So what comes with capitalism? You could have banks that are controlled by the government, or you could have banks that are controlled by private capitalism. So what the good comes with the bad, right? So because of that, we've had famine, we've had depressions. I guess to follow along with this is trying to state how the banking can control what happens in America. So I'll just wait to see what the next clip says, since I'm getting told by people behind the scenes that I'm not responding to the right things. Nope, the next one is about army, so I think I did respond to that one correct.
You know that in 1962, America's top generals approved a plan to murder their own citizens? Operation Northwoods was a classified CIA proposal that would stage fake terrorist attacks across the United States. The Joint Chiefs of Staff signed off on every horrific detail. They planned to shoot down passenger planes filled with innocent Americans, then blame Cuba for the massacre. Miami would be bombed. Washington, D.C. would face coordinated terrorist strikes. Cuban refugees fleeing to America would be deliberately drowned at sea, their deaths used as propaganda. Remote-controlled aircraft would crash into buildings while fake passenger lists were released to the press. The military calculated exactly how many civilians needed to die to justify invading Cuba. Each attack was designed for maximum emotional impact on the American public. President Kennedy read the proposal and refused to sign it. One signature stood between approval and mass murder of American citizens by their own government. The document stayed buried for 40 years until declassification revealed how close we came to state. Did you know that in 1962, America's top generals approved a plan to murder their own citizens? Operation Northwoods was a classified CIA proposal that would stage fake terrorist attacks across the United States. The Joint Chiefs of Staff signed off on every horrific detail. They planned to shoot down passenger planes filled with innocent Americans, then blame Cuba for the massacre. Miami would be bombed. Washington, D.C. would face coordinated terrorist strikes. Cuban refugees fleeing to America would be deliberately drowned at sea, their deaths used as propaganda. Remote-controlled aircraft would crash into buildings while fake passenger lists were released to the press. The military calculated exactly how many civilians needed to die to justify invading Cuba. Each attack was designed for maximum emotional impact on the American public. President Kennedy read the proposal and refused to sign it. One signature stood between approval and mass murder of American citizens by their own government. The document stayed buried for 40 years until declassification revealed how close we came to states. Did you know that in 19...
Okay, so I do believe that the government lies. I can see the generals possibly and the elites possibly doing something to harm Americans. They've done this with like testing with, they tested stuff on black people for sure, but they've tested stuff on other people. So I do believe that the government would do something that's harmful to its people, including killing them to get their agenda passed or to get their agenda out, to get their agenda executed. So I believe this is true. I believe that it's possible. This is why conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists exist, because there are things that the government will do and that would do that's negative. So yeah, this is just an example of a time when almost, thank goodness that John F. Kennedy didn't sign it. And then some people are going to say he died. And my next question would be, okay, if they killed him because he didn't sign it, why didn't the next person sign this bill, right? That's just my thing with everything. And that's why my other show is called Critical Commentary. I really struggle with like coming down and saying this is going to happen or that's going to happen. It just looks like we have a lot of different factions trying to do things. And the best we can do is just continue to try to push for good and push from a place of kindness and a place of peace. This is the last one for this episode.
One thing I need for you guys to understand about your masters, you know, the people that taught you everything you think you know about everything you think you know, if this was real, they wouldn't even show it to you. You don't get to see what goes on at the White House. You don't get to see what goes on at Area 51. You don't get to see what goes on at the Pentagon. You don't even get to see what goes on beneath the Sistine Chapel. Why do you get to see this? Because they want you to believe in this. That's why. One thing I need for you guys to understand.
I'm sorry guys. I, like most people, have not been to space. I do think space exists. I do think the world is round. I do think there are planets. I do believe that the planets revolve around the sun, but I don't know this. I do think that we've had various animals, hominids, etc., living on Earth for billions of years, etc. I don't know about the Big Bang. I don't know if every aspect of science is correct, but the medicine we have, the technology we have, etc., it's based upon the things that they have said in science. So some of those things, gravity, etc., some of those things could be true. Some things may be false. Some of those things only work with certain numbers, and not to get too deep, but some of them don't work with large numbers or small numbers. So basically, I am on the side of the fence in saying that the world is round. I am on the side of the fence in saying the planets revolve around the sun. But just in general, like anything people say, I don't know what's factual and what isn't, because I'm not God. So if anybody has links to these things, if people watch this and they think, oh, if I provide you with more information, you can learn more about whether the world's flat, round, etc., or if the planets exist, etc. If you have information or links that you can send me that are credible, I know this is tough because they'll say that anything that goes against the narrative isn't credible. But if you have stuff that you've seen that you believe is credible, please send it to me, and I'll continue checking out these various topics and these various issues. Peace. See you guys tomorrow. If you like this video, please smash the like button, comment, and subscribe. New shows airing Monday through Thursday.